Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Hope you're all well. Today marks the government's lifting of the two-child benefit cap system. But who does it benefit the most? Stay tuned and we'll look into it.
Workless households are going to get an extra £6,000. This is more than 186,000 families without any working parents will receive thousands in extra benefits. It's going to cost the taxpayer £3.5 billion.
A huge and costly shift in social policy is being enacted in the United Kingdom by the Labour government, and it's set to happen on your time. The new government has made a decision that will fundamentally rewire the nation's welfare system, costing taxpayers billions of pounds. This isn't some minor tweak. It's Labour's reversal of one of the most controversial welfare rules of the last decade, and it has already ignited a fierce, polarising debate. At its heart is a simple yet deeply divisive question. Should the state limit the financial support it gives to families based on the number of children they have? Or, put more bluntly, should your taxes pay for a family to have a third, fourth or even fifth child? The Labour government has given its answer, and that answer could cost taxpayers over £3 billion a year. We're going to expose exactly how this new policy works, how much it could really cost working people, and the explosive arguments on both sides of a debate that goes to the very core of fairness, responsibility and the future of the British welfare state. Now, what if I told you that for you to have the same disposable income as certain jobless households in the UK, you might soon need to earn a pre-tax salary of over £70,000 or even £90,000 a year. Now, this isn't hypothetical. It's the potential reality created by a single policy change that the Labour government is now implementing. Labour is calling this a landmark investment in children. Critics, however, call it a profound injustice against working people, creating a system where work simply does not pay. So, what is this monumental change? The Labour government is officially scrapping the two-child limit on benefits. This rule, first introduced by the Conservative government back in 2017, was designed with a very clear principle that families on benefits should face the same financial choices as families who support themselves through work. Now, under the policy, financial support through universal credit was restricted to the first two children in the family. Under the policy, financial support through universal credit was restricted to the first two children in the family. If a family had a third or subsequent children after April 2017, they received no extra money for them. In real terms, that meant losing out on the child element of universal credit, a payment worth around £3,500 per year per child. Now, that policy is being completely reversed by Labour. The plan removes the cap entirely, meaning low-income families will be able to claim that extra £3,500 for every child, no matter the size of the family. The financial implications are staggering. The Institute for Fiscal Studies estimates the final, fully rolled out cost of this reversal will be around £3.4 billion every single year. And this isn't a one-off payment, it's a permanent increase in the welfare budget, funded, like all government spending, by the taxpayer. Labour and its supporters argue that this cost is not only justified, it's essential. Labour's case for scrapping the two-child limit is built on a powerful moral argument, ending child poverty. Campaigners have described the original cap as cruel and a cap on childhood, that unfairly punishing children for their circumstances of their birth. The Child Poverty Action Group has estimated that the policy was pushing 109 children into poverty every single day. According to the government's own projections, scrapping the cap is the single most effective measure available to reduce child poverty. The numbers they present are compelling. It's estimated that this one change will lift between 350 and 450,000 children out of poverty in the coming year. In total, nearly 1.7 million children in households affected by the policy are expected to be better off. To justify the cost, Labour and advocacy groups like Save the Children argue the annual cost is a worthy investment when compared to the wider economic damage caused by child poverty itself. Research suggests that child poverty costs the UK economy an estimated £39 billion a year through effects like poor health, lower educational attainment, and reduced future employment. From this perspective, spending a £3 billion to mitigate a £39 billion problem is presented as not just compassionate, but economically smart. Labour says it will give children a more equal start in life, and for the hundreds of thousands of families who are skipping meals, this policy is framed as a vital lifeline. However, there is another side to this story, one of growing anger among working taxpayers who will foot the bill. Critics argue that while the goal is noble, Labour's policy creates a deeply unfair system that can disproportionately benefit non-working households at the direct expense of the working class. The core of the backlash revolves around the working family penalty. The figures highlighted by the organisations like the Centre for Social Justice are startling. They paint a picture of a welfare system where not working can become more lucrative than holding down a job. Let's look at one of the examples. A couple with 5 children who are out of work could, with the cap removed, receive a benefits package worth around £55,000 a year. To take home that same amount after tax, a single earner family would need to earn a gross salary of about £90,000. Let that sink in. A working person might need a job paying nearly 6 figures just to match the income of a non-working household of the same size. For a family with 3 children, the numbers are still stark. A jobless household could get benefits worth around £46,000, requiring a working family to earn a salary of roughly £71,000 just to match it. This creates what critics call a perverse incentive. It erodes the principle that work should always pay and instead builds a system where a life on benefits can look less like a safety net and more like a comfortable alternative. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has argued that this kind of policy means the Labour government is favouring benefit claimants over working people, stating that those on welfare should have to make the same financial choices about family size as those who are not. But the data reveals further complications that challenge the simple narrative Labour is pushing. One of the original arguments for the 2-child limit was that it would encourage parents to find work. The evidence for this, however, is weak. Research found the policy failed to meaningfully boost employment rates among affected families, largely because barriers like high child care costs remained. And this is compounded by a crucial fact that undermines the attack on workless households. Government data shows that around 59% of households impacted by the 2-child limit already have at least one parent in work. And these are the very people the system is supposed to support, low-income working families still struggling to make ends meet. For them, removing the cap is a desperately needed financial boost. Yet, this reveals another critical flaw in Labour's plan. The entire benefits system operates under a separate, overarching rule, the household benefits cap. This rule puts a total ceiling on the amount of benefits a household can receive, set at just over £22,000 a year outside of London. In a stunning admission, the government's own analysis admits that because of this overall cap, around 70,000 of the UK's poorest families will not see their income increase at all from lifting the 2-child limit. And they are trapped. The very policy Labour has designed to lift them from poverty will, for them, have no effect, creating a bizarre situation where some of the most destitute families are left behind by this flagship policy. And this brings us back to the central dilemma of Labour's policy. It is a transformational moral imperative that will rescue hundreds of thousands of children from poverty. Or is it an unfair and poorly designed system that penalises working people, entrenches dependency, and fails to help some of the most vulnerable families it claims to target? The country is fiercely divided, and the consequences of the multi-billion-pound decision will be felt for years to come. And we want to know what you think. Is this policy fair? Let us know your unfiltered opinions in the comments below. The Labour government's reversal of the 2-child limit is one of the biggest social policy shifts in a decade. It's a high-cost, high-stakes gamble with taxpayer money. Labour see it as the fastest way to tackle the national disgrace of child poverty, viewing it as an investment that will pay for itself through better life choices. Critics, however, see a system spiralling out of control, one that serves the link between effort and reward, and asks working families to shoulder an ever heavier tax burden to fund lifestyles they themselves cannot afford. The debate touches on the most sensitive issues in society: fairness, individual responsibility, and the role of the state. As billions of pounds are redirected from the taxpayer to fund this new reality, one thing is certain: the argument over who should pay and for what is only just beginning. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Be interesting to see what people think, bearing in mind that the two bigger opposition parties now have vowed that if they get into power, they're going to scrap this two-child policy immediately and take it back to exactly how it was. So what do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it and you enjoy the rest of your day. Before you leave, if you're not a subscriber, please do become a subscriber. It's free. We don't ask for anything from you. It just helps the channel grow so that we can keep producing content like this. So until the next video, take care and we'll see you again very soon.